people, this is your spoiler warning to warn you that there are in fact spoilers.
Hello again everyone, it's Luke and welcome back to an Idiot's Challenge. Now, when I spoke to you last, I was just finishing off low rank and moving into high rank, and I'm glad to tell you that this time round I've finished high rank and I've got enough time spare to enjoy the current Spring Blossom Festival event. I would go into detail about it, but I know there are many other YouTubers that have done much more in-depth videos on this than I could ever do. But I will say, if you've missed out on a lot of event quests like myself, this is a brilliant time to go through and pick up on some of those events and get yourself some silly equipment. I did actually say I wasn't going to be getting any DLC or event equipment, but with the event going on, maybe I'm in the spirit, I just couldn't really help myself. But we'll be going through that as we see what I've been up to. Well, as you can imagine, my high rank run through this time round was pretty much just a continuation of the low rank run through from the previous episode. So I'm still making and using all weapons equally, I'm still upgrading my farm as much as possible, and I'm trying to capture all creatures still, but while backtracking into low rank I might have accidentally slaughtered quite a few creatures. But other than that, everything is pretty much the same. The one thing I did want to get as soon as I got into high rank was 2 armor sets. The first of these is a gathering armor set with the geologist skill, the botany skill and the specimen skill, and the second of these is a quest reward armor set, and this involves the Legiana and Kirin set bonuses. Next, as you can probably assume, I spent a lot of time trying to optimize the farming units in Astera, so I've been playing around and I think I might have found the best way of doing things, especially keeping this challenge in mind. So I'll go through each one now and tell you what I think. Number 1, the Argosy dude. So I've been talking with a lot of people and the general consensus is that trade-in items is the best choice to go for. I used to do it myself and it is a really great source of Zenny, but at the same time there are better ways of doing that, and I genuinely think materials is a much better choice. It just goes without saying, if you want to make a wide variety of weapons and armors, then it helps to have a wide variety of materials as well. And the added bonus is that the Argosy dude brings you both low and high rank materials as well, which saves you from having to backtrack so much. Number 2, the canteen. So a lot of the ingredients come from doing optional quests or deliveries, but the best way I found of fattening up your ingredients list is actually to make yourself a gathering set, ensure that it's got geologist level 2 on it, and go searching for special gathering points. If you find investigations with upsurges in these points as well, each one will give you either 3, 4 or 5 additional ingredients for the canteen. The good thing about having so many ingredients as well is that you get more fresh choices, and this allows you to have better health boosts and more chances at feline skills. One thing I didn't know about that a friend told me recently is that if you take Poogie and settle him down next to the handler, he'll actually get your free meal ticket every time guaranteed, and so far it hasn't failed on me. One thing I will say though is make sure you don't put him too close to the canteen counter, as he does get a bit mortified at the sight of dead bacon. But other than that, it's a very useful tactic for getting guaranteed feline skills. Number 3, the Tail Raider Safari. There's not really all that much to tell about these guys, you basically just pay attention to the icons and go for as many stars as possible. But one trick I always use when I need it is to put a Doggeron or Dodo Gamma into the Surge. Now this gives you a good chance of getting a lot of nourishing extract, and that can be used for mega armor skins or mega demon drugs. So having these in healthy supply will always help you out for 9-star investigations. And number 4, my personal favourite, the Botanical Gardens. So for all Monster Hunter games, the usual trick is to take Might Seeds, put them in every slot, sell off all of the stacks and make yourself a decent amount of Zenny. In Monster Hunter World, for every 2 missions you do, these stacks will net you about 5,040 Zenny. But by playing around, I think I've got a better way of doing things. If you alternate Blue Mushrooms one mission and God Bugs the next, you can combine these to make 24 life powder, and you've got some God Bugs spare. By selling these you get 7,560 Zenny. So this is a 2,520 Zenny increase every 2 missions, which doesn't sound like much, but it really does add up. I've sold some giant stacks of life powder for a ridiculous amount of money, and some of you might be thinking I probably could use that life powder on group missions, but I mostly play solo, so I don't really care. While we're on the topic of multiplayer, a couple of people have asked me why I don't just get my friends to help me through this challenge, or even use Monster Hunter World's new SOS system. And I think the reason is, I kind of love and hate multiplayer in Monster Hunter games. You see, as much as it is fun to hook up with a good team, whether it be people you know or people you find online, I feel like in multiplayer it's very easy for less experienced hunters to coattail off the much better hunters. And I'm not saying that I don't play with people because I don't want them to improve off my successes. It's just that if I do make progress, it's kind of difficult for me to feel like it's actually mine. I know it's a weird thing, but it's just the way I've always been. So if you do think this challenge is going slowly, that's just because I'm stubborn enough to do it all pretty much on my own. There are a few quests here and there that I go for, especially the Kirin one playing now was a lot of fun. But for the most part I will be sticking to solo play. So high rank is complete, that's another milestone done, and with low rank as well, that's probably the easiest part of the challenge to come. But before we go along and count the worst, we'll see what we've been doing and count our progress so far. So firstly, for the missions I've done 89 in total. For the equipment side of things, it's looking a bit scarce, but that's just because I've gone for a much wider variety of things. So I do have 4 full armor sets, I've got 3 fully upgraded weapons, and I've also got 3 fully upgraded charms. Spencer has had a bit more of a better time than me, he's got 17 armor sets total. And in terms of the achievements, we're still at 34, but that's just because there's a bit of an overlap with my previous character. I would count them individually, but we're still going to be getting to 50 trophies at the end of it, so I'll just leave it as it is for now. So with that, the hard part is coming up, and I suppose I better tell you what I'm going to be doing. So as some of you may know, I've had the idea for this challenge for a while now, and while I was trialing it with my first character I came across one very big and very irritating issue, and that's not the resources. I really don't mind grinding at all. It's actually the money side of things, and as much as high reward investigations or farming is useful for getting money, I don't think it's quite enough. So I've come up with potentially a very stupid idea. I'm the sort of person that will never sell a material if I know I might need it further down the line. So I figured the best way to get around that is to pick a monster, kill it into absolute redundancy, make all of the equipment made out of its materials, and from that point onwards, everything I get from that monster I can basically just sell outright. So the plan is, and the whole reason I've started this channel, I'm going to pick every monster, one by one. I'm going to destroy their entire ecosystem, make everything you can make from them, and then move on to the next one. And hopefully by doing that I'll have not only enough money to carry on, but it also means I'm going to get all of the weapons and armor for every single monster as well. So next episode we're starting on our first monster. I hope you're ready for it. Thanks for watching this episode guys, and I'll catch you then. I will get myself ready. The biggest problem I've had, even before thinking about starting this, death. So that's high rank done then, that's another milestone reached, and I suppose it's about time we check our progress to see how we're doing. So, firstly, the milestone reached, and I suppose we better count our progress. So, I will fucking murder my neighbours if I hear one more fucking footstep. I'm gonna lose my fucking shit in a minute.